For the first few minutes, I'm going to share my thoughts CinemaSin style. Ip Man 4, hell yeah. Ready to see Donnie Yen kick some ass.
Let's welcome Mr. Bruce Lee from Jan Pan Kung Fu Studio.
Alright, movie, setting the stage, so it's going to be about Ip Man and Bruce Lee, finally. Meaningless action. Whoa! I do not remember Ip Man being so quick to violence. He's the master of cool, the grandmaster of being calm. I get it's a sensitive topic, but come on. Whew. Ip Man looks really good for his age. 71 sins. Skip! Also, who's fixing that table? This scene does not contain lap dance.
How do I know that he isn't some kind of fugitive, just like all of the other illegal aliens that get deported every day?
Yep, Americans are racist. Real Bruce Lee's 6-inch punch is better. Sorry, movie. More meaningless action. Where the hell did he come from? Fan service.
Mr. Ip Man, right?
Yes.
Do you have all the required documents?
Yes.
Okay.
Skip.
8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, for the love of...
Stop there! Come on, get out!
You think that you beat me? You can never beat me!
Yeah, I'm with Ip Man on this one. Where the hell is everyone? Isn't this supposed to be like one of the best schools?
Stay out of this, old man. Oh, you want some too?
This save the cat moment is only appropriate in the first 1 to 15 minutes of this movie to establish Ip Man's badassery and give the audience a reason to like him. Put it where this meaningless fight is, and we Gucci.
对了，叶叔叔，你来我们学校干嘛？
我係嚟幫我個仔申請入學。
那你肯定見過我爸了。
After all that, you still want to bring your son here?
What has happened?
Didn't see that one coming. What about the scary old man who kicked all your friends' asses, huh? What about him? You're incredibly agile for a 71-year-old man. I want to be like you when I grow up. Okay, this is kind of cool. Okay, Master Wan, hasn't he already proved how good of a fighter he is since he's basically giving you a run for your money? Why do you insist on taking the chance of him kicking your ass in front of your daughter? I am Confucius.
You know there's a rumor going around this base, people saying that I'm racist. I'm not racist. See, I don't hate you because you're colored. I hate you because you're a cowardly color.
Okay, so you admit you're racist? Okay, there's no way someone this race has actually mastered a Japanese art form on par with Grandmaster's Wing Chun. No way. That out of nowhere I'm the real badass bad guy ex machina does not work. Sorry, not sorry. Dude, I understand quitting is hard, but your doctor just said you're dying of cancer. He also said stop smoking. You're not a normal person. You are a grandmaster in charge of all of your body and all of your mind. What about your son? So we can develop their relationship, but not Bruce Lee and Ip Man's? Come on.
4th Dan black belt in Kyokutin karate. And I'm here to show you yellow bitches.
Aren't you also... Never mind. Defying the laws of gravity. Dude getting his ass whooped by a 71-year-old man with lung cancer. Can we just talk about how this kid literally has no reason to still be upset at his father? Feels like they're just adding conflict for the sake of adding conflict here. Oh, now you want to care.
Necessary task of demonstrating how an inferior race can and should...
I don't have a problem with one of the themes in this movie being about racism, but this theme all by itself is not enough to hold the weight of the final fight of this movie. No, the entire Ip Man franchise was not leading up to this moment. It was not. Whew, I'm gonna make some people mad today. Okay, so I'm a huge fan of the Ip Man franchise. Even with the non-stop action at its core, we get just enough of an emotional weight to get us as the audience emotionally involved. But this final film was incredibly disappointing. Now, I don't know how Ip Man 4 got a solid 7.1 stars on IMDb and is certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, but as a huge Ip Man franchise fan of the first 3 movies, this film fails mainly for 2 reasons. Reason 1, lack of conflict progression and meaningless conflict. Throughout the Ip Man trilogy, even though we did get some meaningless action, at least in those other 3 films, for the most part, you get a sense that each and every fight scene is more exciting and more dangerous than the one before it. And as the action sequences progressed, they just had more substance. Fight scenes built off of one another, and we got to see an increase in the stakes of the story. Let's take Ip Man 1, for instance, and compare its level of conflict progression to Ip Man 4. The first action sequence appears to be a simple sparring match between 2 martial arts masters, but this fight was essential in laying the groundwork for all of the action sequences in the first act. So Master Ip whoops Master Lu's ass in the presence of Yuan, an audience of 1. Yuan goes and tells everyone how Master Lu got his butt whooped by Master Ip, including his brother, Lin. So now Lin is even more intrigued by Ip's fighting prowess. Lin, now knowing how powerful Master Ip is, basically tries to get some free coaching and test his new abilities against Master Ip. In addition to Master Ip's audience of 1 multiplying into several, we can also recognize that this scene would not have occurred if that original fight didn't occur first. This is a prime example of meaningful conflict. This fight did not just exist in a vacuum. It strongly influenced the following scenes in the story. Additionally, while we're watching, we also see that Ip's obsession for Kung Fu is resulting in the neglect of his family, a theme that will come up later in the story. That tiny detail gives this little sparring match a little more substance. Now, this fight acts as a setup to further solidify how great of a fighter Ip Man is, so that later when Jin barges into town, challenging and defeating every single Kung Fu master in Foshan, the viewer watches the beautiful action occurring on screen and is quietly, subconsciously anticipating the showdown that will inevitably occur between Master Ip and the hothead Jin. So now we see how the first action sequence is used to basically carry us to Ip Man's brutal takedown of Jin at the end of the first act of the movie. This is the perfect example of conflict progression and meaningful conflict in an action film. The exact opposite of what occurred in Ip Man 4. The first action sequence in this film was a pointless fight between Bruce Lee's pupil and Master Ip's pupil.
But Alan, what about the ticket Bruce Lee's pupil gave to Master Ip's student to give to Master Ip? Without this, he wouldn't be able to go to America.
Okay, ask yourself this. Could we pull this fight scene from the movie and still get to the end of Act 1? Yes. Yes, we can. The fighting was not necessary. It was meaningless. Meaningless to the story, and therefore meaningless to the audience. You take the first fight scene out of Ip Man 1, and the whole first act of the movie begins to crumble. This is one of the many meaningless action sequences of Ip Man 4, so I'll just leave it at that. Reason 2, no development of Ip Man and Bruce Lee's relationship. It appears that an undercurrent for the entire franchise has been leading up to the relationship between Bruce Lee and Ip Man. They've been teasing us with the prospect of potentially exploring this relationship for over a decade. It would have also been interesting to see how Ip Man's mild-mannered, even-keel teachings would transfer over to Bruce Lee, who was notorious for his cocky, hot-headed ways. These differences in their characterizations already make for great starting points to build the conflict these 2 characters will have. You'd think that the final movie would closely chronicle their relationship leading up into Ip Man's eventual death. Now, I don't know about you, but that is the B story I wanted. That would have given this film a bit more emotional weight. It's so strange because the film treats Ip Man's death like it's an afterthought. Yes, we were told that he had cancer early on, so we know it's coming. But the movie fails to give Ip Man's death meaning. It fails to give his death weight, because when he died, I didn't feel anything. Instead of using Bruce Lee and Ip Man's relationship as the driving central force in this film's story, instead the movie uses this relationship as a means to get Ip Man to America so that we can see a cool action sequence involving fake Bruce Lee, then see Ip Man defend the honor of Kung Fu and fight American racism along the way? What? This is not what the previous 3 films were leading up to. Sorry. This movie treats Ip Man's relationship with Bruce Lee like it's an afterthought instead of honorably treating it as the impetus that started this entire Ip Man film franchise to begin with. Yes, Ip Man had his own life and had his own problems, but in the final movie, show me the impact Ip Man had on Bruce Lee's life, so that when his death occurs, we really feel it. It was supposed to be the end of the legendary Grandmaster Ip, the end of an era. But no, the movie, both A story and B story, ended. And in the epilogue, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, he dies. No, no, no. It's been evident that the writers have been taking creative liberties all throughout the franchise, so why not embellish a little more to create one last powerful emotional arc between student and teacher? Just saying. Huge missed opportunity. And I am pissed.
Royally pissed.
Also, wouldn't it have been nice to see Ip Man and Bruce Lee fighting 10 to 30 people side by side as an epic student-teacher duo? Just saying. Did you agree or disagree? Please let me know in the comments below. I also produced a film, so you can check that out for free on Amazon Prime. And I also have a Clover Key, a product that I created that you can use to unscrew the camera plate from your camera and replace the cord that you're using right now. If you're a filmmaker, you'll need it. Please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can be notified of future videos. It's always great talking to you guys. Till next time. Peace.